This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 243 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Show me the money. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They'll bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, welcome back, Helena.
Thank you very much.
Last
Thank
week,
you.
did you notice what I did last week as a filler? Huh?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I know. It's, you always seem to like, why me?
I punish you for not being here.
I know you do.
How can I punish Helena this week for not being here? And it was like, I can replay the bloopers episode. We haven't heard that one in 2 years.
We need a new bloopers episode. And trust me, we've got plenty to create a new bloopers episode. And you know what? This time around, it's all you. I mean,
I don't save those.
No, you don't.
That's the advantage of being the editor.
I'm good for like 3 or 4 bloopers per episode. I granted, fine. But you're good for like the big ones. You're good for the money shots.
Yeah, I don't keep my bloopers, and there's a reason for that.
Why?
Because then I don't have to hear them again.
Oh, right.
I don't have anybody blackmailing me like I can blackmail you. See, there's a difference there.
Just wait. Someday I'm going to have a little extra time on my hands, and it will be the end of you.
Well, we have a big show planned for today. We have a lot of guests coming up. We have Jody Werner with Dear Murray of Dear Murray fame. She comes on once a month, and we talk a little bit about what Murray's been up to. And then you scheduled a guest of something that we have never talked about here on the Horse Radio Network, and I'm surprised that we haven't gotten to it sooner.
Yes. We have with us today, I'm very excited about this because, it's all geeky financial stuff. Buck Harris, he is the Vice President of Business Counseling at the Community Investment Corporation, which is it's a nonprofit economic development lender. And he's going to talk to us about how small businesses, horse businesses, can get some money either to start up or to grow their business. So he's got a lot of really, really good information. He's going to be on the show with us today.
And that's something we all certainly fight with if we're in business at all, especially in the horse world. Almost all of our listeners are in business in some way or another. So
Yes.
And then coming up later, we have our Tack and Habit segment. We're going to be joined by Coach Jen over at the Horse Tip Daily Show, who's reviewing a saddle that she has had now for a couple of weeks and going to let us know how she likes that. So that's all coming up on today's show. But has the weather warmed up enough for you to get out and ride your horsey?
Yes, it did. In fact, yesterday was the first time I sat on the Big B, the Brody Meister, in, like 6 months.
Wow. And how was it?
Oh my gosh, he is an angel. This horse is an angel. And I was a little concerned about what I would experience. We just rode in my field, which is dry enough, and but we're legging up for hunting. Hopefully, I can get him hunting in June. So I'm taking my time legging him up, and all we did was walk, and some change of rein and a little halt and stuff like that. And the interesting thing is, after 6 months off, he's way more responsive to my leg aids laterally than he'd ever been before.
Huh.
That was something I noticed. It was very, very easy for me to get to move him left or right with a leg aid. It was nice. I could stay off his face, which was a big problem when I first got him home. So we'll see. Hopefully that will stick around. But in terms of like attitude and demeanor, he's just the best thing ever.
That's very good. It's nice to have a horse that you can get on even after 6 months of not riding and know they're going to be there for you.
My gosh. Yeah. He's a good match.
And not off in left field someplace,
No. I mean, he's, he's Brody. He's got his issues, which is like, I want to go out on the road.
Yeah, but all of us guys have issues.
I know. He's like, I want to go this big white gate over here. That's the entrance to Adventureland. I want to go there.
Well, that's terrific. I'm glad you finally got to ride, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are getting on for the first time over the last week or two.
Yeah.
After a long break, and we hope that you have you at least have 6 to 8 good months of riding in before the next snow comes.
Indeed. Oh, don't even say the word. Talk what we were talking about. We talk about 4-letter words in the with Jody Murray today. Snow. I'm going to add snow to the list of 4-letter words. They're not allowed.
Well, let's. I do have an update on one of our previous guests we just had on here recently, Liz Halliday. Remember, she is the eventer out of Europe and is also the race car driver.
Yeah.
Well, I just got a notice that she was out doing her. Remember, she said she was going to start her racing campaign. It was the week after we talked to her. Which was like last week. And she said, and we have to congratulate her because she won her first victory
Yay.
in the Lotus Cup UK campaign last weekend. She ended up in the pole position, and for the whole campaign, she ended up second overall, but she won her individual heat. I don't understand much about that, to be honest with you. All I know is it said she raced for an hour and a half around the 300 layout. I have no idea what all that means, but I did see a picture, and she drives a cute little car. Did you see the picture?
I did. You call that cute?
That's a cute little car. That's a
that
cute
thing,
little race car.
That'll
take you around the track.
I was going to say, yeah, you'll be peeing in your pants in that cute little car.
But how cool is it to be not only a good eventer, and good at what you do there, professional at that, and then she bought that beautiful farm and everything over in England, but then to do so well as one of the very few successful female race drivers in the world.
Well, she's driven, pardon the pun, but she is. She's motivated young woman who likes what she does.
And fun, a lot of fun. We always enjoy talking to her, and we'll catch up with her in the fall and find out how it all went.
This
season. So congratulations on her first win of the racing season.
Nice work, Liz.
Let's get to Jody Werner of Dear Murray fame. And, of course, that is her horse who answers questions on Facebook. You can write in, and Murray will answer questions for you. And it's very entertaining and a little light, and we like having her on because we get her up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this, and she barely has had time for her coffee, and she's funniest then. And she admits that she's funnier in the morning. So.
You definitely have an evil streak, getting women up at 6 o'clock.
All of us are really funnier, I think, in the morning than we are when we're dead tired at 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, but yet, when you go to comedy clubs and shows like that, it's always at 9 o'clock at night. It's like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to be funny anymore. I just want to, go to bed.
Well, that's because alcohol's involved.
That's why I do a morning show. It's because an evening show would not be good for me. So let's get Jody Werner on. Well, as I said, we have Jody back with us, who helps Murray answer some questions with Dear Murray. And there is one that caught my attention. I'm going to read it. That we have her on every month, and I'm going to read the one that caught my attention. Or do you want to read it? Are you awake enough to read it yet, Jody, or do you want me to?
Well, we've established I'm funnier when I'm sleep deprived, so perhaps that would be good.
All right, you read it then.
We've established that. We're a little evil.
But now we expect funny, all right? Just saying.
No pressure or anything.
It's one of Murray's unsolicited advice columns because, as he puts it, there's stuff you need to know whether you ask about it or not. And the title of it is, I Got Rhythm, But You Don't. Humans, you have simply got to learn to keep a rhythm while you ride. Horses have a natural cadence, but all of your speed up, slow down, speed up and then slow down, whoops, was I supposed to turn here and move up? No, wait, at a stride stuff makes us crazy. We can't do our jobs with you people changing tempo every other stride. Go watch Dancing with the Stars or take some music lessons and come back when you can reliably count to 4 without getting lost. You might also put a sound system in the arena. If you can't keep a rhythm by yourself, maybe some Adele or Hootie and the Blowfish can help you find a distance once in a while.
He has some strange eclectic taste in music, but I don't know.
No, you have no taste in music. Hootie's great.
I have no rhythm either, so I can relate to this one.
Yeah.
It's like, So now, Helena, you do have rhythm. You were in band, right? What'd you play again?
I do everything. I was a gymnast. I was a cheerleader. I was in marching band. I'm Italian.
Does being Italian naturally give you rhythm, Helena?
Yes, it does. It's in our Mediterranean blood. I'm totally going to give flame for that.
I was in the band as well, Helena, so I'm with you there.
Okay. So you're sort of like, rhythm is pounded into you genetically and culturally.
It is. And, Murray's nickname that he was given by other people was the metronome, because he just had this incredible natural rhythm. And even when he was completely green and had no idea what he was doing, he did it in the same rhythm. It's like the old saying, if you don't know what you're doing, do it neatly. He figured if you don't know what you're doing, just do it at the same tempo and maybe you won't get in trouble.
Now, remind our listeners what kind of horse Murray is or was.
Murray was, oddly enough, an off-the-track thoroughbred, but he was the laziest thoroughbred on the planet, and I rode him mainly in the hunters and equitation, and he had just such a nice, sweeping, natural rhythm and cadence that it was just incredible. It was almost impossible to miss a distance on him, because no matter what I was doing on his back, poor guy just kept the same rhythm all the time. It's like he was just trying to tune me out and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dance with me, dance with me.
Oh, Murray, we love you. So he just came naturally to him. And now, did he teach you rhythm, or did you have it as well?
Well, we kind of both had it, because, as I mentioned, I was in the band, and I knew tempo and cadence and all of those concepts that they teach you when you play a musical instrument and you're trying to play in the same tempo with other people. So we kind of just worked well together that way. But we had such incredible rhythm that it really made people or horses that didn't have it stand out, and you could really tell the difference between a rider that had tempo and a rider that did not have tempo.
So what do we do with someone like Glenn, who's pretty much hopeless? Put him in a cart.
What I did? You know what I did to solve that? I solved that problem, and we've all seen those riders that are just bouncing all over the place. But I solved that problem because I took up driving, and see there, the rhythm is not as important.
Driving cars or driving horses?
Driving horses. I took up carriage driving, so that solved that problem for me. I didn't have to have so much rhythm. I got suspension.
Horses are so sensitive that I can only imagine what we must feel like when we're having a bad day and we're up there flopping around like a spastic bag of rocks on their back or something.
You just described my entire riding career.
Spastic bag of rocks.
And I can just picture them going, okay, what do they want me to do? What do they want me to do? I'll just change lanes. There, how's that?
A spastic bag of rocks. Oh.
That is funny. That is funny. Now let's get back to the taste in music. Adele and Hootie and the Blowfish. Those were the two that Murray came up with?
I swear that they used to play Hootie and the Blowfish in this one indoor ring at a horse show I went to every year. I don't know why they picked that, and I honestly could never find a distance to Hootie and the Blowfish, so it was beyond me why they put that on. And the amateurs win the ring, no less. I mean, we need all the help we can get.
Hootie and the Blowfish will make you bounce around like a spastic bag of rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Want to bebop around.
Adele, I can see Adele. I can see that. I'm
Adele's
with
got a good sort of almost military rhythm to her. I would suggest playing some Adele if you're having trouble keeping rhythm.
She does have a good military rhythm. When I was a cheerleader in high school, we learned about different styles of cheerleading, and we had a very military style, which was really different than a lot of the other high schools in the region. But there's no way you could not learn rhythm from any kind of military exercise.
Yeah, my trainer always taught us to hum or sing a little tune to ourselves while we were riding to try to keep the rhythm.
Yeah.
And of course, the kids that were into like freeform jazz, that didn't work for them at all. But I found out if you sang "The Ants Go Marching," that worked really well at the canter.
Yeah, probably Lady Gaga's not so good either.
Yeah, teach Glenn "The Ants Go Marching." I think that will improve his riding a lot. You know that one, don't you, Glenn?
No. Oh, no, I don't.
The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah!
Yeah.
Hurrah! That's a really good.
I never heard ants. There's other versions of that one.
Oh.
You never heard the ants one?
No, but there's one of the military's versions is the troops go marching.
That was probably the original. I think it was modified for children's use.
Yeah. See, we never had kids, so I never got to that one. Well, this is interesting that Murray's always got something good to offer. Where can people find his advice columns?
People can find Murray on Facebook. If you just search for Dear Murray, you will find his page.
Murray's
And I don't know if I've spoken to you since he won the ESMA award for
Oh,
Best
no,
Talking
congratulations on that. Yeah.
Best talking animal. Nice
That's
work.
right.
Animal. He was voted Best Talking Animal by the Equestrian Social Media Awards.
Congratulations. I voted for him.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I did vote.
Go Murray.
And the last time we were on, I know I got a lot of comments saying, "We can't believe let you mentioned beer on a morning radio show," and because of course Murray likes beer, and apparently it was okay that we actually spent 90% of the time talking about poop, but the fact that we mentioned beer raised a few eyebrows. So
Is there a morning radio show that doesn't mention beer? I thought that was a staple on morning radio.
Wait a minute. What? I'm a little stunned.
Most of them are hung over from beer when doing morning radio. Helene and I are probably the only ones sober when we talk in the morning.
Speak for yourself. I get a little extra something in my coffee in the winter months,
It's that Fox Hunter thing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jody.
You're welcome.
Hi all, Glenn the Geek here, and we're excited to bring you a special offer for Horse Radio Network listeners from one of my favorite companies, and that is Audible.com. Audible.com is the premier provider of digital audiobooks. Audible has over 85,000 titles to choose from in every genre: thrillers, business, romance, comedy, sci-fi, sports, and so much more. Audible titles play on your iPhone, your Kindle, your Android, or more than 500 different devices that you can listen anytime, anywhere. My wife and I love Audible books. We've been a member of Audible since 2004 and have listened to over 100 books with Audible. What horse person, who has time as a horse person to sit down and to read a book anymore? Yet I found the time to listen to books on Audible. When I'm not listening to podcasts while I'm riding, cleaning stalls, or at the gym or driving, I'm listening to Audible books. And for the listeners of the Horse Radio Network, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 14-day trial to give you a chance to check out their service. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/HRN. That's audibletrial.com/HRN for Horse Radio Network. And you can download your free audiobook and get your 14-day free trial today. If you can't remember that, just check out our website and you'll find a link to it right there. Enjoy your book. We know you will.
Our next guest, Buck Harris, actually knows what he's doing. He's the Vice President of Business Counseling at the Community Investment Corporation, which is a nonprofit economic development lender based in Hamden, Connecticut. He's also an adjunct professor at the Quinnipiac School of Business, where he teaches undergraduate business communications. With more than 25 years of entrepreneurial and corporate management experience, Buck provides advice and assistance to small businesses so they can take advantage of special lending programs, whether it's for starting up, growing your business, or just to ensure long-term success. So I think Buck's going to bring a lot to small equine business owners on this episode of Stable Scoop. So we're going to welcome Buck.
Well, hi, Buck, and welcome to the Stable Scoop Show.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Now, tell us, we read your title, and it's a big, long thing, but what actually do you do?
I actually help small businesses get the money they need to either get started up or to grow. And in connection with that, I help them develop a business model that will help them be profitable.
Wow, I got to talk to him.
Yeah, you think?
We've been doing this for 4 years, and I need a business plan. I haven't had one for 4 years.
Wait, we don't have a business plan?
No, we just do this. We just show
that
up and
answers
record.
a lot.
Of questions. See, I told you. So, Buck, tell us now. The horse world is a little bit different, and anybody that says it isn't hasn't been in it. And I understand you're also a horse person and in the horse world, so you understand that.
Yes.
It is in my past experience, it has been difficult to get banks and institutions even to look at a horse business. One, they didn't understand it unless it was breeding and racing. They just didn't get it. Has that improved at all, or is it still a tough thing?
I think it's still a really tough thing. I mean, banks generally want to take no risk. something that people don't really think about in terms of banks. They loan money, yeah, they're taking risk. No, banks don't want to take any risk. They want collateral, they want great credit scores, they want a solid business plan, they want 5 years in business. There's a lot of requirements that they need in order to go forward without taking any risk, because they want to be able to recover their money.
Well, that eliminates 90% of the horse people I know.
Yeah, no kidding. Risk. We get on untrained thoroughbreds on a regular basis. We're all about risk.
That's right. Well, the thing that you want to be able to do as a small business owner is to have a model that works and have the support of some kind of financial institution so that you can go out and ride and have a great time without your head spinning around about how you're going to put feed in the buckets at the end of the day.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing that I would help someone with, and whether that meant looking at the pricing structure, really coming to understand the competition. Most small businesses undervalue their services and don't charge enough is what I find. I know that always kind of sticks in the craw of anybody who's in the horse world because it's so expensive. But if you can make a case for a slightly better service and charge a little bit more, you can go from breaking even to making a little money, and it makes a big difference at the end of the day.
Helena, what we once did, real quick here, when we had our big boarding stable, we had a working student. We made her for an entire month calculate everything she did all day long, kept track of every minute of every day, kept track of every little thing that we fed, every little thing that we spent money on, everything. And it came down to that, we could have charged $200 more a month and we still wouldn't have been making money. And she, basically she could have made more going out working McDonald's. One of the things we're bad at as horse people is looking at every little detail and every little expense, because we tend to go, oh, well, I don't want that to be included. It's going to make me look bad. And, I probably would have done that anyway because I had horses. Instead of looking at it logically like you would in any other business, we tend to not do that, Buck.
Well, a lot of small business people don't. I mean, food, people that run food businesses are the same way. There's just too much to keep track of, and so it becomes overwhelming. But if you invest in a good software system that can really monitor expenses, then you can make a model that makes sense from a pricing perspective, so that you can actually turn a small profit and run your beautiful barn and do a lot of nice things for the horses.
The operative word here is model, and I think a lot of horse people, and maybe even most small business owners, their expertise is in a particular area, not necessarily in business. So that whole modeling and keeping track of stuff and planning isn't really their strength. So, and then I kind of want to back up with that, because banks, if someone wants to grow their business or start a business, the first place they might think of to go is a bank. But you said banks they're not willing to take on risk. So then how do you and your company, for example, differ from a bank? And then, because I think you also, not only do you offer opportunities for lending, but you also offer opportunities for consulting and helping small business owners with the business part.
That's right. I mean, there's a group of companies across the country that are called community development corporations, and lots of them participate in the Small Business Administration microloan program. And if you are interested in learning more about the microloan program, you can just go to your local SBA. Every state has an SBA office, which has its own website, and you can call them or contact them, and they'll put you in touch with the microlenders in your state. And what microlenders do is we actually borrow the money from the SBA and then loan it to small businesses. And as such, we provide free consulting support on the front end of the loan. So in other words, before you borrow the money, to make sure that you're borrowing the right amount and that you understand what this money is going to do to help you improve your business. And then we're there after you borrow money to provide ongoing consulting support, whether that's around marketing or whether it's, I need a new bookkeeper. We have resources for all kinds of marketing people, accounting people, lawyers. We do everything we can to help a small business person surround themselves with good resources so that they can be successful, because it's just a really complex environment right now. It's you can't just go out and cut hair. Like, you got to know a lot about business in order to be successful. So from a modeling perspective, I mean, the thing that I would look at is, let's say someone came to me and said, I want to do all new footing in my indoor ring. I want to do all new footing in my outdoor ring. I need a half a mile of new fencing. And I want to make improvements to my indoor ring. I want to put up mirrors. I want to do this. I want to do that. And at the end of the day, I need, $50,000 to make all this happen. So what we would do is look at, well, where are you going to get a return on your investment for that? Can you raise your prices? Can you lower your costs because of these changes? Maybe you don't need to spend as much on maintaining the footing anymore, or maybe you're buying a robot that can come in and do all the barn cleaning for you, so you don't have to pay somebody like Helena or Glenn to come and do it for you anymore.
When you invent that one, you're going to make millions. I got to tell you.
I think I just let the cat out of the bag, didn't I? I've been hanging on to that for so long, and here I am. Now I went public.
You better get that. You better get that patent quick.
So I mean, whatever it is, if you can demonstrate a return, then it makes sense to borrow money. And most people are very risk averse. They don't want to take on more debt. But at the end of the day, the barn starts to feel more and more run down. The fencing is falling apart. The footing is getting shot, and then they wait too long. And when you really need the money, guess what? You can't get it. You're behind on a charge card bill. You've missed a mortgage payment. You start losing clients because, the barn isn't being kept the way you'd want it to be kept. And at that point, it's too late. So it really makes sense for the small business person to have a 5-year plan, understand what their 5-year plan is, and know how to leverage that plan with some borrowing where it's appropriate.
And most of horse businesses, quote unquote, there are some exceptions, but I would say a vast majority of the people out there have a training business or a boarding business. Mm-hmm. That's where most horse businesses fall. They have some, a lot of them own them, so they own the property, and there might be some equity there, but most of them don't. If they have, if their credit's so-so, and or do they have any chance of getting a loan? Is credit still one of the big determining factors?
For the microloan lenders, it's not as big a factor. I mean, the microloan program was designed to pick up the slack where banks wouldn't loan and get people up to speed either by starting a business or improving a business so that they can become what we call bankable, have a real bank relationship with a line of credit or whatever. So we're more than happy to talk to someone who's got a little bit of excessive outstanding debt. Maybe they've missed a few payments in the last few years. If someone's behind on their loan payments, or I see people that have $70,000 in charge card debt and, 2 $600 a month car payments, and they're looking for a microloan, and you're like, no, it's not going to, $50,000 isn't going to help you. So, it has to be within reason, and each micro lender has their own board of directors. They're all 501c3 nonprofits, so they have a volunteer board, and the board has to approve all the loans. And so each one has their own nuances around what their particular board, the threshold or the risk tolerance threshold of that board is going to be. So,
and the board really decides on the loan?
Yeah, there's a loan committee. Every loan goes to a loan committee, which is, in our case, it's our whole board of directors. And they vote on every single loan, whether or not it's going to get approved or not. So my job is to kind of become the advocate for the borrower where I think it's appropriate and help them create a plan that's going to get them the funding they need. But at the same time, they're really learning about their business. That's the bottom line is, do I feel like this person can manage their business, or do they just want to go out and ride horses all day? And that's kind of
that's really what they want to do. It comes down to it.
It's true.
What's the max on a microloan? I didn't know about these, so I'm very interested. What's the max on it?
The maximum is $50,000. Okay. The minimum's as low as $1,000 or $2,000.
And what are the terms?
Typically 5 years. And the rates can be as high as about 8.1, 8.2%. Lots of microlenders are around 6 or 7, which is a very typical commercial rate. So that's really not bad. I mean, you can't compare it to home mortgages.
No, that's not bad actually.
And then the cool thing is that, again, I'll throw this out there. Lots of
that's a heck of a lot better than your 30% credit card. Let's put it.
Yeah. Don't finance your business on a credit card. There's lots of other companies out there that have pools of money. So, like in Connecticut, we have Metro Hartford Alliance. We have the Hartford Economic Development Company. We have Middlesex Chamber of Commerce. All these small corporations, nonprofits that are out there. They're non-government corporations. Lots of them have pockets of money. So anybody who's interested in a small loan can go to their Chamber of Commerce and find out if they have a loan pool that can help fund their business. Or go through the SBA and find out who their participating partners are. So sometimes we can do a $150,000 loan because we've got a $50,000 microloan and a $100,000 loan from Middlesex Chamber of Commerce. And then, we kind of partner on those. So there's lots of creative ways to get money outside of the world of traditional banking.
I can think of one. I don't think it's legal though. What? So now let's talk a little bit about the support. After the business owner gets the loan, they're really happy, and now they're like, woohoo, I got all this cash. How do you control, or do you, where they spend the money? They might have told you how they were going to spend it, but then how do you make sure, or how do you help them spend it in the right ways?
Well, contrary to popular belief, horse people really, really do love to spend money.
No.
It's actually I know it's a shock to you guys. It's their number one goal in life is to spend as much money as quickly as they possibly can on as many crazy things as they can spend it on. So our role in that is to really clearly define what they're going to spend the money on, and then we actually control where that money gets spent based on the plan, so that there's no abandoning ship. If you're going to borrow $25,000 for a tractor and the appropriate equipment to go with it, and at the end of the day you want to buy a smaller tractor with maybe some of the appropriate equipment but a new saddle, that's not happening. So
I can't take a cruise either?
Well, no, you can't take a cruise either. No, none of that. So we actually cut two-party checks or reimburse against invoices so that we can control that. And that's an audited moment for us, too, so we have to make sure that it happens that way. But discipline is the biggest problem for small business owners. They're not disciplined people. So they want to do what they want to do, which is why they got into small business, but sadly that can also work against the small business owner. So there's a little psychology that goes on in my world as well.
And this happens to some horse businesses. There's a cycle of business where you have the great idea. Usually the entrepreneur is the one that has the wonderful ideas and gets the business up and running, and they find the niche and they find the need and they fill that, and it grows, and they get to a point where they really should find a business manager, somebody who knows business, and who cares if they even know your particular area, but they know business. And that's the point where a lot of them don't, and they end up failing.
Yeah. I liken it to people who, like, let's say you really like to fish. You go out and you fish every day because you love fishing. But if you never clean the fish, they're not really worth anything. So you got to stop and clean the fish. And that's the hard part with running a small business. So you have to think of that time and that money as an investment. People often think of, well, if I hire a business manager, that's going to cost me a lot of money. You should be thinking, no, that's actually going to make me a lot of money. And if it doesn't, then I've hired the wrong business manager. So that's, the difference between kind of thinking like a small business person with that fear-based, I already took my risk, I don't want to take any more risk. The idea is to continue to invest in your business, take risk, and leverage that risk so that you actually can get yourself a $50,000 horse at the end of the day with the saddle that you want and, all that good stuff that comes with it. But you can't, people start their business and then they want to hunker down and try to make it work rather than continue to reinvest in it. And I'm not a huge proponent of constant borrowing, but intelligent borrowing is what all successful companies do. And it's kind of where small companies miss the boat.
Yeah, but then so then it's the intelligence part that's missing.
Well, you've been kicked in the head enough times, Helena, that,
True.
that can
this
rattle
is true.
you a little.
But that's where you come in. That's part of your job, isn't it? Is to provide sort of the knowledge and the expertise where it might be missing in the small business owner's life.
Exactly. I mean, if I had someone that was going to invest in a horse property or begin, a horse business on a property that they already had, we would do a competitive analysis. We would come up with what their strategic advantage is, and we would price their business, their services, their stalls, everything according to what the market will bear and based on their competition. And we would try to figure out ahead of time whether or not it was viable. I mean, sometimes the best decision is to not go into business because everyone's priced so low in a market that you can't make money no matter what you do. I think that's kind of what you were saying, Glenn.
That is a common.
No matter
one with
what you
us,
do,
too.
you know, we're not going to make money. We need a new revenue stream.
That is
So
common with the horse world too, especially with boarding and training. You know, you can price whatever you want to as long as people are willing to pay it. And in
Right.
some markets, because your competition is all underpriced, it's going to be tough.
But I think that's where intelligent marketing comes in, because unless you tell people why you're better, they're not just going to walk in and figure it out. And again, that's the tough one for small business owners. They just imagine that people understand why they're better. But it takes too long for people to figure it out, and then they've moved on. You know, they've made a different choice. But if everything is like in your face, why you're better. Like if you have a viewing room, it should be filled with why your barn is better. If you have, you know,
that's where you
always-
hang your Olympic gold medals.
Absolutely, absolutely.
See,
Hang
that's
every-
the problem, Helena. We forgot to do that part.
Yeah, what do you have an Olympic gold medal in?
I don't.
Talking?
That's the part we forgot to do, is get the Olympic gold medal first. See? Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, we had Gina Miles. She had our medal. She had that lovely silver medal. What was that? Episode 3
Yes.
or 2? I
Well,
can't
Buck, this is
remember.
great. Where can people find out more information? Where can they go?
I think the Small Business Administration is a great place to start because, you know, it's nationwide and there are offices in every state in the country. So it's a really good jump-off point for learning more about small business and opportunities for borrowing money. The local chambers of commerce is another great place to go. I think if you know, sometimes you got to push a little to get the person who really has good information for you, but certainly it can be there. The state of Connecticut also has Department of Economic and Community Development, DECD. I think most states probably have a Department of Economic and Community Development, and what that means is they often have loan programs, and they're there to support small business in a big way right now. I mean, clearly everybody wants to do that, so I think that's a third good option for people.
And now you're based in Connecticut, so give us a little plug for your business or small business owners in Connecticut and Rhode Island.
Sure. The company I work for is the Community Investment Corporation, and we have we're mostly in Connecticut, but we do business in Rhode Island, and we're actually expanding more into Rhode Island. We're looking at that going forward. We have a couple other loan programs that are a little bit bigger that we definitely are busy with in Rhode Island. And as such, we field a lot of phone calls and look at a lot of business plans and sometimes refer people back to places where they can get a little more help. We like to see something that's at least something we can work with from a business plan perspective. But we do everything. I mean, we've underwritten a whole bunch of horse businesses, but everything from childcare to people that want to wash dogs or cut hair or naturopathic doctors or, you know, pretty much any kind of business. The modeling is always pretty similar, and it's certainly worth a phone call to any of your local CDCs, and you can call me here at Connecticut Community Investment Corporation, and I'd be happy to answer questions. So,
Great. Well, we're going to put links to your website and a little bit more information about you. So if folks, because I've been to your website and it's actually, I think it's a great resource. While you guys are specific to the Northeast, I think it's a great resource because the information about microlending and the non-bank option of getting funding is just well articulated there. So we're going to put links up to your website at stablescoop.com. Cool.
Great.
Glenn, what do you say? Should we open up another business? What should we do?
I got enough to handle this one. Why don't you open another business? I'll let you
I've
do
got
it.
like 9 going.
I know. How about we let our audience open up another business? Well, let's go with that. Well, thank you, Buck. We appreciate you being on.
no problem. Thanks for having me.
See, that's the problem. I never had a plan. I never wanted to think about a plan. I just want to do. And that's the problem with most small business people.
Yeah.
Is they're good at what they do and what they want to do, and what they don't want to do is plan. We just want to do.
We just want to do. We
That's
just want
right.
to get on and go.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like anything. You got to step outside your comfort zone, and who knows what you'll find there.
But I did not know about these microloans. That is an interesting thing to definitely take a look at whatever state you're in. By the way, I just looked up Florida Department of Economic and Business, like he said, and there is a department in Florida doing the same thing, and they also have microloans available. I just read. So
Yeah, the whole concept of microlending, I was like, what's that?
yeah.
It just makes the opportunity a little bit more accessible to the small business owner.
So just look it up for, just Google it for your state, and you'll find something that'll give you a good jumping off point to start with.
Yeah.
Well, now it is time for our Tack and Habits segment.
This Tack and Habit segment is sponsored by Chasing a Fox. It's actually Chasing a Fox in a Little Black Dress, which is a style guide for fox hunters, fox hunting fans, equestrians, and, well, pretty much anybody who wants to follow along. Chasing a Fox employs some pretty interesting style gurus. We're interesting because we've hunted, we've shopped, we've hunted some more, we've fallen off, we've gotten back on, we've made it through hunt ball after hunt ball, dinners, teas, and of course, ditches. So our job is to help you get dressed appropriately for the hunt field because, it can be a little complicated. So we'll lend you not only advice about what to wear when you're hunting, but how to look good while you're wearing it. And this is the best part, is we'll show you how to get dressed for your body type, your sense of style, for all the fun social activities that go along with fox hunting. All those cocktail parties, all those black tie events, outdoor barbecues, all of it. Find us on Facebook at Chasing a Fox.
I don't know where they put the flasks in some of those outfits those women wear.
I'll tell you. Go to Chasing a Fox and you'll find out.
Coming up next is Coach Jen of the Horse Tip Daily Show. She has a review of a product that she's been trying over the last couple of weeks for us. So let's talk to Coach Jen. Well, howdy, Jennifer. Welcome to the show.
Howdy.
Now, you have a product that you got in, a couple months ago?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, and that you wanted to take. Now, you've used Wintec. You used the Wintec synthetic saddles since the day they came out, I think.
Well, I got my first Wintec when the adjustable or easy change gullets came out.
Back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s, and I thought that was darn clever. So the Wintec guy came out to our place and touted the ease at which you could change that gullet out, and I had to have one, and I've been riding in a Wintec ever since.
Now, the last Wintec you had finally was starting to show its wear after how many years?
I checked but I had it for 13 years of very hard riding. And not only, I didn't just ride in it, I loaned it to everybody. Sure, ride my Wintec. It's indestructible.
And I think at the time we bought that, it was probably $300-400, maybe $350. So for $350 to get 13 years of use out of it ain't too bad.
No, it's finally been demoted to sitting in the tack room and looking pretty. And when small children come over and want to play, you put it on the sawhorse and let kids sit on it. That's what it's been demoted to now.
Now, tell us about the new one that you just got. You upgraded. You've gone to the Wintec 2000 synthetic all-purpose saddle with the care system. And that is the one with the suede seat, right?
Yes,
as opposed to the smooth seat.
It is the suede seat, although it's not real suede. It's man-made suede because all of Wintec's products are made from man-made materials.
Which means you can still wash it with a hose?
You can still wash it with a garden hose, one of my favorite features about a Wintec.
Mm-hmm. I like the extra grippy faux suede myself.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure I'd like that because you know me, Helena. I don't like the full seat breeches, that kind of stuff. But I read up a little bit on the material they use to for the seat, and the knee rolls are also made of the same material. And I was looking for the breathability factor because it's so hot and sticky here in Florida. Mm-hmm. Previously, my Wintec had a sheepskin seat cover on it to add a little breathability. So I thought I'd give the synthetic suede a try, and it really is much more breathable than just the flat, smooth seat. And the grippiness is not overly grippy. It's just the right amount of grippy.
Exactly. It's a comfortable, I'm here. I'm making good friends with your bum, but but we're not getting married anytime soon.
Well, it's not so sticky that you can't zhuzh in the seat.
Right. Zhuzh. It's exactly.
You got to be able to zhuzh, especially on Beaker. You have to be able to zhuzh. So I'm very pleased having upgraded to that. And it was really nice too, because the new Easy Change Fit solution that they came out with, which is actually a combination of the original Easy Change gullet plus the care panels, which have both been around for a number of years. And now they've also added the ability for the saddle owner to change the flocking slightly by providing these little thin shims. Because on Beaker's back, it had a propensity to try and bridge on him a little bit. He's very, very short coupled, but he is also wide. So he is a little bit tricky to fit a saddle on. And I used the shims appropriate to the instructions that came with the Easy Change Fit solution system. And what a difference.
Now, let me ask you this, because I have the collegiate saddle, which is basically has the Wintec
the insides
engine.
are the same, yes.
The insides are the same, and I love it. So we've got the Easy Change gullet system. I've got the care panels, and my saddle's only a year old. So this new, what do they call it? The fit, the extra fit. I don't have that.
It's called the Easy Change riser system, and the way you can tell your saddle has that, if you didn't have the tags with it, when you open it up and you look at the panels, which is the part of the saddle that touches the horse.
Yeah.
When you open it up, if you look at the part of the panel closest to the tree of the saddle, there are Velcro openings there, and it's the entire length of the panel, and it's divided into a front, a center, and a back. And if there's no Velcro there, that means your saddle was not designed to use the riser system. And it does the exact same thing a saddler would do if they were to reflock the saddle for you, but it does it in a regimented, measurable way. In other words, when you put the 3mm riser on the front left panel, you know it's exactly that. You don't have to go, well, I think this much wool equals about that much rise.
Okay.
So it takes that part of the equation out. It's measurable. You know exactly how much you put in there or how much you didn't.
Okay. Actually, I'm listening to myself talk about my collegiate saddle. I don't even own a collegiate saddle. It's a Bates Caprilli. Wow, it's been a long winter,
there, honey.
Well, no, because the Bates has the
yeah, it does. It has a
Wintec
gullet
system under there. Yes, it has the gullet system and the care panel system. But that may be why it doesn't yet have this new what is it called again?
The Easy Change riser system is the part that allows you to change the panels. Yes.
Okay.
And it gets a little confusing because there's a lot of different systems added together, and
So basically, the Easy Change gullet system, along with the Easy Change rider system, gives what they call the Easy Change Fit solution. And you actually they have a website, easychangefitsolution.com.
Easy Change Fit Solution.com. I got to write that down.
It's a lot of work.
It is. And you know me, I can't remember anything. Look, see, I'm writing it down and I write Easy Fit.
Easychangefitsolution.com.
Easy Change Fit Solution.
And one of the things I didn't realize about Beaker, because as I said, I've been riding in Wintex for a long time, because his body shape does change a lot more than any other horse I've had, because he gains weight so quickly, but he also loses it pretty quickly too. But the part of his back that changes is not the width. The width of the gullet stays the same. And I know this because I have a Wintec gullet measuring gauge. So I know exactly what size his withers are from time to time. It's not just guessing. That doesn't change when his weight changes. But the horizontal shape of his back, how much dip there is behind his withers and behind his shoulders, that does change when his weight changes. And that's where the riser system comes in. For example, if he puts on between 75 and 100 pounds, I will have to take those shims out because that's where he gets the fat pads.
Yeah, you'll still have the same gullet width.
I'll have the same gullet. His shoulders stay the same width.
Right.
But the part of his back under the center part of that saddle, now that's going to be different in different horses, but it really brought home when I got this new saddle and put those risers in there, and the difference in the sweat pattern in his back and the difference in the way he moved, really brought home how the shape, the curvature of their back, not just their spine, but their back and the musculature and or fat changes so much. And this is a great boon to folks whose horses change frequently, people who ride a lot of different horses, people who want to have a really, really good fit, but don't want to remortgage their house to do it.
Now, this one, tell us, okay, so as far as comfort is concerned?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
Okay.
The Wintec saddles, the all-purpose saddles, which are the ones I have the most experience with. I've had others, but I've had mostly the all-purposes, have a shape to the seat that fits a very high percentage of people.
And these actually come with leather
billets.
Billets,
yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, the different series, the 500 series, which is the next price point down. The guts of the saddle are exactly the same. What's different is the materials on the top. They come with a synthetic billets. The 2000 that I got has leather billets, and they are put onto the saddle slightly differently to make them easy to change out when they wear out, because that's the first part of any saddle to wear out are the billet straps.
Okay. So, and then what negatives? Any
negatives? Let's see here. Negatives could be that there aren't as many saddle shops in Ocala that carry them as they used to. And you know me, I'm not an online shopper, but I ended up getting it online. And perhaps in the 2000s specifically, having had the 500 with the synthetic billets, I think I like the synthetic billets better.
And I think that's going to be a matter of taste, too.
That's personal
people.
taste, yeah. I'm not used to having the leather, and the leather has give and stretch to it, which I haven't had in years because I've had synthetic saddles. And that's taken a little bit of getting used to.
And the price point is at $762 at Equestrian Collections
Great
right now. And would with a 6-flake bale of hay, out of 6 flakes, what would you give this?
I'm going to give it a 5.5.
And that's probably because of the leather straps, right?
Just because of the billets, and it's a personal preference thing.
Yeah.
And I believe Wintec has a special going right now where you get a complete set of 6 gullets and the Easy Riser shims free with your saddle purchase.
Yeah, you'll have to check on that when you place your order with whoever you order it with. Yeah. Very good. Well, that's the Wintec 2000 synthetic all-purpose saddle with the care system. And, of course, you can find out more. Where, Helena?
Okay, here we go. At easychangefitsolution.com.
Yay, you did it. It's good you wrote it down. We'd never gotten that out of her. It would taken a week. All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Well, those saddles, too, work out really well. The synthetic saddles from Wintec work out really well here in Florida because mold is a big problem. It's so damp and wet and hot here all the time that if you're not keeping your saddle in your air-conditioned house, you do have to worry about mold very quickly on leather saddles. And with, if a synthetic saddle gets a little bit of mold, guess what you do? You hose it off and wipe it off and you're done. Yeah. So that has really worked out well. She even went to a synthetic bridle now because of that issue. So she's using a Wintec synthetic bridle now as well. So
wow, we have so much moisture in the air here because we're along the coast that my saddles mold up in like a day. So I actually keep them in my house.
You would have to. Yeah. I can see that. You would definitely have to. Yep. Well, thank you to Jennifer for doing that, and thank you, Helena, for being here again this week. Don't forget that you can hear all the shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. And I want to remind everybody that you can play on Wednesday mornings. Hop on over to Horses in the Morning at 9:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Give us a call, and you can play the Wheel of Trivia. You answer one equine trivia question correctly, and we spin a wheel full of prizes, and you can win all kinds of great stuff. So that happens over at Horses in the Morning on Wednesdays. And this is your cue to say something else. This is Wake Up, Helena.
Come on, Glenn, you know me in cues. pretty dense when it comes to cues. For details about today's show, including links about where you might be able to get some money for your business, go to stablescoop.com. As always, we love your feedback. Tell us what we've done right and what.
No, don't.
Well,
don't
just
add that
tell us
second
what.
part.
Just tell us what we've done right. Tell us you love us
Yeah.
unconditionally. Again, follow us on Facebook under Stable Scoop, at Twitter at Horse Radio.
Can I say before we wrap that I am looking forward to meeting with one of our listeners. Jennifer and I are going down to meet Rhonda from Canada, and her husband are going to be in Orlando and are going to be at Disney World. So we're going down to have dinner with her at Epcot one night next week. And she was kind enough to invite us. She's one of our legacy listeners, Helena. She has listened to every episode of every show we have done since day one.
Yes, she has been there. She has been she's a super fan.
Yeah, super fan. We did meet her once over at Rolex. We got to meet her for a couple minutes, but we're going to get to go spend the night having dinner, watching the fireworks at Epcot next week. So thank you so much to Rhonda. We're looking forward to seeing you. She is doing the dream trip, though. I'm going to throw her under the bus a little bit.
Because that's what you do.
That's what I do. She is taking a Disney cruise next week. They leave Saturday. So Sunday through next week, they're doing a Disney cruise. Then they're going to Disney World for 4 days. Then they're going back down to the ocean and taking a second Disney cruise.
They're going, wow.
Yeah, there's a couple of weeks vacation for you.
My mouth just started to water.
I know.
The
Can you
cruise,
imagine? I
I don't
said,
know.
you guys are going to gain about 100 pounds.
Cruises, these days.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
getting kind of a. But as she clarified, we're not going on Carnival cruise. We're going on Disney cruise. So,
Poor Carnival.
Yeah, Carnival. We did a Carnival cruise once and had a blast. I think it's just a matter of luck.
Yes, it's got to happen to everybody at some point, every business. Carnival actually used to be one of my clients when I was working in the investor relations industry. Yes, they were a great a great company to work with. I had probably about 50 Fortune 1,500 clients that I worked with, and they were absolutely one of my favorite. They were a fabulous company to work for, or to work with. And so I was kind of bummed out that they had this trouble. But you know what? Like we said, this kind of thing comes around for every business. You got to deal with it.
Yep, that's right. And it's all how you deal with it, where you win or lose.
Yeah.
So we'll see in the end how they deal with it. Like maintain some of your ships would be a good thing. Get out and send the maintenance guys out there. Yeah, let's check them out before the next cruise. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great week.
Yes, we will be back next week. Until then, happy scooping.